Good afternoon and welcome to our lesson for today. It's a very short lesson on the collaboration partners between an organization or an individual and other networks in resource mobilization. Our key class was last week. That was our main class. I believe it's what in resource mobilization you can say the key class. The core class was learning how to write a proposal. I would wish that you try and do that. In fact, were it not that we are already doing discussion forum questions, that is what I would encourage you to do in future, whereby you attempt to write your own proposal. I may do that for your cat 2. In your cat 2, I may request you to write your proposal. However, if that will be the case, I will have prepared you in advance, but be preparing for such a thing that I can ask you to write a proposal to, UN Women or UNDP in Kenya. I can do that. I would like to know first whether I'm audible before we begin, so that I can proceed with confidence, knowing that you are able to hear me clearly. So if you can type on the public chat, please type if I'm audible. Yes, thank you, Bernadette. Okay. Now, I would love to also mention that the notes I have currently shared are very short. They are only for the purpose of this big blue button. Immediately we are through with our... Immediately we are... Thank you, Washira. Now, is it Washira or Wangari? Am I speaking? Okay, and he or she has logged off. Because Washira Wangari, Washira could be the surname, Wangari could be the surname. But let me just continue and say that we need to take the discussion forums more seriously. We need to do that. We need to take them with the seriousness that they deserve, because most of you have not been answering those discussion forum questions, yet they are your assignment. If you check at the top of the course, resource mobilization, in the introduction part, there's somewhere I have written that discussion forum questions will amount to your assignment marks. So I'll just do an average of all your marks, the marks you'll have attained from the beginning of the semester, because in every topic we have a discussion forum question. Majority of you ignore it. Only last week, only Kidaka Mumo answered it, but the rest did not. So don't ignore those questions. I'll do an average and then prorate it out of 10. So let me type that message here. Let me type that message here so that it is clear for everybody who is joining in. Give me 2 seconds to actually do that. Who is this sending me a message? So just give me a second. Let me answer those. Let me type that. Okay, so that is typed. And I also have some students who are struggling to get into class right now. I don't know who this is. It's Nuria Kula. Nuria, you should not be struggling to enter into class because you have been attending classes well enough. So we are on that July. So you should always check the dates and click on the ones for today. So as I was saying, the notes I have shared for now are these ones that I will use for discussion because they are very short. So I will remove them immediately we are through with the live big blue button with this live class. I will remove them and put in the other notes that you should use to download. I will encourage you also to, for the classes you have missed, please check the notes and because they are important for your learning. Let me go ahead right to the class and begin by saying that we need partners even when we are writing proposals. There's a section where we said we add the number of partners that we will have for our classes, for our work, for whether it's a program or a project that you're currently doing. So you will need to include partners. A partnership refers to a relationship between two or more people with the objective of profit making, but that is for businesses, but or for the objective of achieving a common objective in non-profit organizations. Let me use that because it is more relevant to us. It is more relevant to us than anything else. So with the objective of achieving the same end product. There are two types of relationships you have in a partnership. One is horizontal, where people are at the same level, they operate at the same level, they basically have the same needs, and they see each other as equals in the organization. For example, you can have one organization and another organization, both of them operating at the same level. Vertical partnerships is where you have a CBO. I'm sure you have met this word before, a community-based organization. A CBO, like a group of farmers somewhere, a group of people in a certain locality, not necessarily farmers, they meet and form a group and say, it's a merry-go-round. That is a community-based organization, a merry-go-round. But then when you have a registered company, like an NGO, if those two are to get into partnerships, more often than not, it will be vertical, where the CBO relies on the NGO. So those are the two types of relationships we have between partners. Now, strategies for building community partnerships. One of the main strategies to encourage participation. So you go out there and create awareness about the benefits of the project that you're doing, about the project you're doing. Create awareness about it, and then encourage people to join. So the more you teach them, the more they will join. That is what we are assuming. Now, coalition census is another method. Coalition census building is where you meet people and lay down a contract, meet people and set out a contract where you can all enter into a partnership to do something together. And that is consensus. You have all agreed. Another strategy you use to get into partnerships with people is capacity building for partnership development. You train them in partnership building, and then you practically get into a partnership with them so that you can do the practicals of that lesson that you have just learned. Then number 4, promotion of accountability and transparent systems. Now, the more ethical you are, the more moral standards you have, the more people will be attracted to you. So if you're a person who does good behavior is attractive, people one way or another will be attracted to you. I will give an example with something that was in the newspapers this week of how the late Bob Collymore ensured that he he had ethical practices, good moral standards in society, and basically people were just attracted to his businesses and to his way of doing business. So these are, I would urge you to use all of them. All of them. Some people will require you to create awareness to them. Go out there and speak about them, about what you're doing, because they have never heard of it. Coalitions, consensus. Some people need to be approached directly, sit down with them, and lay out a partnership. Other people will need to be trained, and then you practically get into, like, if it's an NGO and CBO, an NGO will have to train that community-based organization, so that now they can say we can move together after the training. And then you make sure that your behavior is morally upright, so that you can attract people to what you're doing. Key principles in a partnership. Why do we need principles in a partnership? Because more often than not, it becomes political. There will be disagreements. We have proverbs in English speaking about how two people cannot live together without quarrels and issues like that. So these are just principles we lay down to ensure that we minimize those quarrels, and whenever they happen, where they are unavoidable, when they happen, then we have good measures of handling them. So one is transparency and accountability. I have mentioned this twice before in different topics earlier, where I mentioned that most of the donors nowadays will require you to be very transparent with your accounts. You have to account for each and every coin that they gave you. Do not fear to pay yourself salaries, because sometimes they know this is the only work that you're doing. Even if they are giving you the money, it is the only work you're doing, and so you need to have a livelihood and a means of survival. So transparency and accountability. Write down your accounts, be transparent about your procedures and your interactions with everybody. Legitimacy. You need to do work that is legal, work that can be trusted, that by and within the confines of the law of the government of the country where you're working. Stakeholders participation. Involve as many people as possible in your work to reduce the problems that you have in society. So involve as many people as possible, so that you can ensure that everybody understands the position at which you are. And then risk management. Identify areas of risks. And provide solutions before they happen. That is risk management. So identify areas of risk and provide solutions before those problems have actually happened. All right. So challenges of partnership in community activities. You will face distrust, but you can alleviate that using transparency and accountability. You have inadequacy of resources. You will alleviate that if you are able to form consensus with people and build partnerships correctly. Socio-economic differences. You will have differences between you and other people in terms of how you operate, basic values. But more often than not, this one we avoid it by saying that get into partnerships with people who you share similar values. With individuals, or let me just call them persons, so that we can even include companies. Get into partnership with persons whom you share similar values. And I will say this, even for our own lives, it's very hard to live with a person who you have different values with. If you don't like violence, you cannot live with a person who is violent. So share similar values. Even companies where your values as a company is to be as transparent as possible. It's difficult to work with a company that is not transparent, because in the project you will need to decide, are we going to be transparent or not? And so even socioeconomic differences, where you're finding that one company, they have a lot of, they really value the issue of balancing between regions when you're hiring people, so that when you hire a person from southern region, then next time you'll hire from northern region. If you hire from the east, then next time it will be west, and then the other time it will be central, and so you have a lot of balances. If you work with companies which are not sensitive, with that you'll have a lot of difficulties. So that's how we basically solve socioeconomic differences. Get into partnerships, and you will find it's very practical. I know of companies in Kenya which cannot work together, and I know of companies in Kenya and outside Kenya. Whenever they get into a business, they always work together. Whenever they get into a community-based partnership, uh, it has good results. Insufficient information sharing. Now that one is solved through accountability. Conflicts. It's not possible to eliminate all of them. It's only possible to eliminate the illogical conflicts. That, when you put two people together who are intelligent, at one point you'll have different strategies, and you'll have to argue that out. And when you argue it out, you should disagree to agree at the end. And poor leadership. Now, for that one, all you need to do is take your managers for trainings and hope that they will improve and use what they have learned. Of course, make sure that you have good leadership in your projects. Importance of partnerships. Even without reading there, I think by now each one of you can discuss a few importance of partnerships and collaborations. One, you get more money. Number two, you do work quickly. Number three, you share risks. Number four, you are able to share expertise. Number five, you improve one another's abilities to work. Number six, you even motivate one another. When one is feeling demotivated or frustrated, the other one can pick up the job. So you can have you share ideas, you can have as many benefits of partnerships as possible. How does it impact into our work? Collaborations, partnerships, and linkages impact communities in the following ways. One, you're able to share knowledge, you're able to stimulate innovation, you create good relationships, you're able to know very many people and create as many networks as possible. They are useful to support funding, they lead to fewer conflicts, and they have lesser problems in decision making. As long as you have a good structure, you will find it easy to make decisions. So that forms the end of what I wanted to share this afternoon. As I mentioned, last week's class was the most important, where we discussed how to write a proposal. Not only the steps, we discussed the do's and the don'ts. Don't do this, do this. Don't do this, do this. So we discussed all those things, and they are very, very important. I'll be sending the link, sharing the link for that later, because we are transferring all the recordings to YouTube, where we share a link with you where you can access them on the ZTech channel on YouTube. And then I also shared a video from last week, and as I was saying, in part two, it's most likely that I will require you to write a proposal, and I will ask you to direct it to a certain company, and I'll give you around 2 hours to do that. And so you better start preparing, because by the end of this class, if you can't write a proposal, it is unfortunate. It will be very, very unfortunate. Let me open the session up for questions, and before you start sending in your questions, I would like to mention that we have discussion forum questions again. Don't ignore them. They will be your marks for assignments, because they meet the same objective. We cannot have discussion forum questions every week and then I give you an assignment. That will be repetitive. The objective is to test your understanding and to do a little bit of research to test your understanding. So because in this discussion forum questions, we usually require you to use your memory. I have already gone through the notes for this class, so now you can use your memory to attempt the discussion forum questions. We don't usually require you to Google unless it's absolutely necessary. Like the questions for today's class are here. The questions for today's class, this is 26th of June, and just before I go to that, this is last week's work, and you can see it is available. You can check my comments, but don't add your own answers now, because I will definitely see you added today. I'll see the date and the time, and I will, unless you informed me that you are not to attend that class, and I think only Anne informed me she would not manage to attend last week's class. The rest of you, I did not have an apology from anybody, so Anne is the only person I can allow to add her comment there, her answers there. But the rest, we are just supposed to answer discussion forum questions within the class, as you can see here. it's 2 to 5 p.m. It's 2 to 5 p.m. So if you add it there, then it will mean you're just trying to be cheeky, and cheekiness is only answered by, I can only ignore you, unless you text me and ask me directly. Just allow me to do that. What I'm promoting here is not, it's not the anything, but I just need you people to take the classes a little bit more seriously, the discussion forums a little bit more seriously, and communicate. If you're not able to attend a class, just communicate. I don't think I will ever ask you ever if you don't attend a class. Just need to say, hi, I'm not available, and then I will say it's okay. Just allow me, to answer the questions later at this time, and I will say it's okay, and I will make sure that the forum will be open for you to answer, and the recording is available for the class in case you need it. So it's as easy as that. So today's questions are two. If you open them up, you'll see the identify the key partnerships in resource mobilization. That one is from a previous topic that we had discussed. What are the key partnerships? And discuss the importance of them. So those are the questions for today's class. Any questions from your end? You can type those questions. If there is no question from your end, and then I will call this meeting to a close so that I can give you time to go ahead and answer the questions in the discussion forum. But before I do that, let me quickly take the class attendance before I forget.
Hey, hello.
Yes.
Teacher.
Sorry?
I have a question.
Yes.
The discussion, the two discussion questions for today, we are discussing them and giving you the answers, or we are discussing amongst ourselves?
No, it's not a group work. And we call it a discussion forum because you can comment, I can comment, another student can actually even comment on your work. That's why we call it a discussion forum, but it's not a group work. We have an option for group works, but I have not yet given any group work this time around. And I'm yet to give group work. I may do that later.
Oh, okay. Oh, so now we discuss using our microphones or what? Or the public chats?
And you look like you have never done these things. Yet I have answered. I can even show you some of the times you have answered these questions. Let me just do that in a short while. Let me just finish up this. Is there anybody who I've left out? Just a minute. I will show you how to answer those ones.
Okay.
Yes, in just a minute. I hope I am not. So it's Bernadette, Kidaka, Nuria, Washira, and those are the people who attended. You are 6. Yeah, and 1 is excused. 3, 6, yes. The rest did not attend. Okay, so let me it just load back. So Anne, here is your answer. This, when you go to topic, we're in topic 7. This is topic 7, community organization networks. I hope you can see it. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay, so when you go to the discussion forum, you click on it.
Yes.
It will open, and then you read the question, and then click add a new discussion. When you click add a new discussion topic, it will open up the way it shows here, and then you can type your answers for question 1, assuming those are the answers for question 1, and question 2, assuming those are the answers for question 2. And when you're done with your answers, you click post to forum. It will post to forum.
Okay.
That is how we do it. Yes.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Karibu. Anybody else need a question? Okay, if there's no further question, then I can call this a class. And please do answer those questions as you have seen. It's by 5 p.m. You can do so by 4:30 or even now. They are very cheap questions. You can do that in the next 15 minutes, so that I can reply to your work. Thank you and enjoy your weekend.